Okay, we have here two Beyond Meat meatless hamburger patties. Just opened it up from the box. Cost about $3.50 with a Prime membership at my nearest Whole Foods. Visually, initially, very close to chopped meat. Not quite the same. There's definitely something slightly different about it from what you'd see in store-bought chopped meat. Maybe it's just that there's not so much marbling, but it's definitely very impressive compared to any other meat substitute I've seen so far. It also feels a lot similar to chopped meat, maybe a bit firmer, but still has a nice give. And I think the most interesting thing is probably the smell, because the smell actually resembles chopped meat. Like, it has a meaty, kind of hearty aroma to it. It's not quite meat. There is something a little bit in there that tells you that it might be plant-based, but it actually smells a lot like meat initially. Okay, I've taken them both out of the container so you can see there's actually a nice thickness to both of them. This is a nice size for a hamburger. It's actually, it's when you pick it up, that's probably the dead giveaway that this isn't real meat, because the texture in the feel of your hands, and I imagine most people aren't handling these raw for a long period of time, it's not as soft as chopped meat, where chopped meat is very mushy and gummy. This is like a weird mix of something that feels a little grainy, kind of firm, and then also mushy as well. So it definitely feels a little different from chopped meat. I almost feel like if I took this and I mushed it apart, like if I wanted to mix in some onions or something like that, I don't know how easy it would be to put it back together. So I think I'm going to try to do one like that, though, and see if I am able to get shape back into it after I've disassembled it. Okay, so I have here minced onion and freshly diced garlic. I actually have 2 packets of these, so I won't be using all of this today, but I'm going to mix these two together first. And once they're mixed together, I'm going to use a portion of it, and I'm going to try to create sort of a smash burger blend from the Beyond Meat burger, and we'll see if it holds together. And I mix the garlic into the onion, but I think my biggest concern here is because I'm not so sure that the burger will hold together as well as a traditional burger. I think it's probably really important that these little pieces probably be finer chopped. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to dice them so that they are pulverized. I want to get them as small as humanly possible, and then we're going to try to incorporate them into the 2 respective patties. Okay, I think that's much more the consistency that we're going for incorporation. I don't want to add much salt to this because I know that the patties are designed to be eaten unmodified, and I want to be fair to the creators there. But I've seen enough videos of people eating them right out of the box and saying what they taste like, that the texture is pretty close to meat and the taste is somewhat different, but close enough. I really want to try to make one that's a little bit more gourmet and a little bit more like a hamburger you might get from a really good burger place. So I'm going to try to attempt the smash burger. I'm going to also add in a little bit of ground pepper and a little bit of a seasoning I get from Trader Joe's that contains some garlic and more dried onion, just for a little more enhancement of the flavor. So this will actually be the blend that I am going to attempt to incorporate into the bun, into the patty. So I'm going to try to do it with one of the patties first, and if I don't have any luck and the patty comes apart, that's okay. I'm still going to eat it. I'll probably just do the other patty and have this on top, similar to what you would see in like a McDonald's hamburger or an all-American hamburger, which is actually my favorite way to eat a hamburger anyway. So let's go ahead to try to incorporate this and see if it works. All right. So I'm going to take it easy first. I'm just going to take, you can see I have my mash well incorporated. I'm just going to take about maybe about a quarter of the whole mash, and I'm going to put it right on top. I'm a little nervous about this because I don't know what it's going to do to the integrity of the patty. So I'm just going to start to kind of work it in. I guess one of the bonuses here is I'm not working with actual chopped meat, though I should still probably be a little careful with how I handle this. Well, I will say, as an alternative, right off the bat, it seems to have incorporated well into the top part of the patty. The question is, when I ball this up, is it going to come back together in one piece? So let me go ahead and just add in the remainder of what I plan to put in one of the patties. That should about do it. And then I guess I'm just going to kind of fold it and hope for the best. Yeah, you know what? It seems to be holding together quite well. The texture is, again, it's different than chopped meat in that it feels like the grain is firmer. It's almost like if you took chopped meat and you had already put little pieces of onion in it to smash. That's what I would imagine the consistency is similar to. But it's not totally off from chopped meat. Definitely not. It's got a lot of similarities. My hands feel the same. It's got that kind of like slimy, blood-coaty feeling. Yeah, I'm actually pretty impressed. It looks like it's incorporating quite well. I think I feel safe to do this to the other one as well. I think my only other concern here really is when I try to cook it, now that I've added some different ingredient. I know these have been really formulated to hold together like a real piece of meat. I don't know if the addition of these water-filled onions is going to have a dramatic impact on the burger. Another thing I kind of want to do just for fun is I'm going to slightly misshape the burger because I think it looks a little bit more like a real hamburger if the shape is not perfectly round. So I'm just going to make it slightly misshapen just so it's a little bit more natural looking. Yeah, I'm really happy with how that came out overall. I think we can do this to the next one. Just wash my hands off. Babe, you know what's kind of funny about this is I feel the instinct to wash my hands after handling it, even though it's not real raw meat, which is interesting. Like it's the exact same feeling on my hands as if I had just handled real chopped meat. Just something I find kind of impressive from a technical perspective. So we're going to do the same thing to this one. I'm going to fold it over. I've never made a real smash burger before, so I don't really know if there's a better method for doing this. I'm kind of winging it. I am noticing that some of the little bits kind of come off and stick to the plate because it's definitely not quite as held together as a traditional hamburger would be in that regard. But yeah, it seems to be holding its shape. It's malleable, and what I end up with is still definitely a workable patty, which is nice. All right, just shape it up a little bit. All right, there's our patty number 2. So now we've got both plant-based burger patties with the incorporated onion smash, and I guess in the next video we're going to cook these things up and make traditional burgers out of them. So I've seen a lot of these videos where people dress the burgers up with tomatoes and lettuce and onions and ketchup and mayo and all this other stuff. And people do it all sorts of different ways. I am not going to do onions because we've already incorporated onions. And I'm not going to do any lettuce or tomato just because I kind of want the focus of this to really be the meat itself. I do, however, always like cheese on my burgers, so we will be doing cheeseburgers with just a little thin spread of mayo on the potato buns and a squirt of ketchup. But I want the main focus to be the burgers themselves, and I want it to be similar in nature to like a good plain McDonald's single or an All-American single slice. So that's kind of what I'm going for here. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get one of these cooked up. I do think now that I know I can work with the dough, we have another batch of these. And the thing that's kind of cool is we could actually take these. So we have company coming over later tonight tomorrow, we can even take these and make like little sliders. So it's definitely good to know that if you do get the doubles, I'm sure they're eventually going to start putting this out as just regular chopped meat. But if you do get the doubles, you can actually make other things with them, which is handy. I guess maybe I should save that for the end and see how these actually come out now that I've gone ahead and changed them. But let's go ahead and get one of these cooked up, and we'll have Pam give commentary on what she thinks. Probably a good idea to do that first. All right, so I'm going to have the pan, and this is a cast iron skillet we're going to cook on, so we get a nice crisp. I'm going to turn that off. Get a good amount of oil on here. We're just going to do them one at a time. I might even just make mine off camera. I think I'll probably just make one on camera. One thing, in the interest of full transparency, just being honest, the more you work with it, the smell is definitely different from regular chop meat, and it's definitely pretty strong. It smells a little bit like meat, but there's something kind of, I want to say it smells artificial, just being honest. There's like an artificial kind of odor in addition to it, and it's not completely unpleasant because like regular chopped meat doesn't smell great either. But yeah, in the interest of being very transparent and giving an honest review here, the smell, the longer you work with it, is very obvious. And I also just noticed when I tried to pick this one up that it did crack there. I don't know if you saw that. So hopefully this stays together in the pan, but I guess we'll find out momentarily when the pan is hot. So we have our burger. That's definitely hot enough, and here we go. Nice initial sizzle there. So it says 3 minutes on each side, so we're going to cook it exactly as instructed. 3 minutes on each side, and we'll see how it looks afterwards. I like a little bit of mayo spread on the bun. This is a little hard to do with one hand. If I was a real YouTuber, I would have a little stand to do this, but they don't pay me the big bucks. Just a little bit more. I don't want to overdo it. Yeah, this is very hard to do with one hand and a spoon. Do the ketchup. Now, I don't know if this is sacrilege or not, but I like to put the cheese on after the burger has come off. So I put the cheese on cold. It's just, that's how I ate it when I was like a kid in the cafeteria at school, and it just kind of grew on me. And I like how it's like a little cool, but then it starts to melt. Of course, it's important to get it on while the burger's still hot, but that's just how I do it. I'm also just realizing that I did this to the bottom of the bun, which is not normally what I do, but that's okay. See how that burger's looking. It's frying up nicely. Let's see, it's only been about a minute. There's a lot of smoke coming off the pan, definitely. I'm not seeing, oh yeah, it is definitely starting to cook a little bit on the bottom there. I wonder if maybe I should have been hotter before I put it on, but whatever. There's definitely a lot of smoke, and it smells, yeah, it smells exactly like a burger now. In the chopped meat form initially, did not smell like a burger. I might think that's just a lean piece of chopped meat, to be perfectly honest. That's what it looks like to me. So we're going to try to flip this thing now. It's sticking a little bit. Ooh, that's not a great result. Oh, that's a little disappointing. It looks like we have quite a bit of stickage here. I don't know if it's an oil problem, maybe. I thought I'd oiled the pan pretty well. I'm going to pause for a second, see if I can... Okay, smoke condition has been fixed, and the sticking condition has been fixed. I think you just need a good amount of grease. You need a lot more grease maybe than with a regular burger. So we're going to give this top part another flip. when we're done, but we're going to cook the bottom part for now, and then we'll flip it again so you get a better idea of what the finished product looks like. One thing that's kind of interesting, some of the little burnt pieces that we ended up taking off, we actually have them right here. So this is the crumb from the top that unfortunately didn't stay on the burger, and I have to say, it's absolutely delicious. I mean, it tastes like a crispy piece of chopped meat. So that's actually really impressive. So we're gonna keep a closer eye on this one. Make sure it's not sticking too much. So as you can see, we're still getting a little bit of sticking. I'm not exactly sure if it's my cast iron pan that needs to be reseasoned, or if it's a product of the meat itself. It doesn't seem to be sticking so much on this side, so my guess is it may have something to do with this center of the pan not being seasoned well enough. In any case, I think what I'm going to do is for the next one, I'm going to cook it in a wok. I might not get the same level of crisp if I do it that way, but at least we won't have that sticking situation. At the same time, really impressed by whatever we scraped off here that was cooked tastes exactly like meat. You could put it in a taco. It was very impressive, actually. All right, we'll give us another minute, and then I'm going to pass the phone to Pam so I can flip this.
I don't want to put, I think it might actually be a problem with the seasoning right there. Because you can see it doesn't appear to have that issue over here.
All right, I am going to attempt to flip it one more time so we can get that side of the burger, which was not properly crisped, another chance to get crispy. So, ooh, and actually this side of the burger looks like it crisped up quite nicely. Maybe even a little more than you would see on a regular burger. It seems, for the most part, to have held together well, in spite of the fact that I took it apart and filled it with onions and garlic. So I think we'll give it another minute, and then we're going to pop it onto the bun, and it's going to let us know what she thinks. Okay, so I think the burger is just about done. You can see it's nicely crisped on both sides. That's the original side, the one where we had the little fiasco, and that's the other side. It really looks a great deal like a real burger. Except maybe just the level of crisping is maybe a little more than you would see in a regular burger patty. So I'm going to go ahead and gently put this on here. Would you like a little more ketchup? Or are you good?
I'll take like a little dab, actually. No, that's fine.
Okay. Well, no, we'll put the cheese on first. We'll do another little dab of ketchup. Just for good measure. And I don't want to overpower the burger itself, so go ahead and finish it off like that, nice and simple. Do you want me to cut it in half just for the presentation, or do you want to bite into it first? You're just going to bite into it, okay. All right, let's see. Might be hot. It looks like a well-cooked, nice, little bit pink in the middle hamburger.
And definitely, it reminds me of like Bubba Burgers.
Yeah, I love Bubba Burgers. That's actually a really good comparison.
It reminds me exactly of Bubba Burgers. It does have like that slight. I don't know if you've ever had like vegetarian burgers, like tofu burgers.
No.
It does have that slight like, I don't know how to describe it other than it's like a little funk, like it's like something that's like mushroomy, I think. Like flavor wise.
How's the texture?
Oh, the texture is fantastic. It's definitely not
Let me just get up close.
It doesn't match like your gourmet burger, but the texture very much reminds me of like a Bubba burger. But it has that nice like crispiness on the outside, almost a little bit more crispy than like a regular burger, and then like kind of soft and like meaty in the center.
Cool. All right.
It's pretty good.
I'm gonna try to cook mine, but I'm gonna do mine in the wok just because we had a little bit of an issue with the cast iron.
I think you should try it in the cast iron. The crispiness is well worth it.
So now we're on to cooking mine. We did end up cooking both of them in the cast iron because we just think the cast iron gives it the best crisp. And actually, after a little bit of tinkering, just making sure there's plenty of oil, you don't really get as much of a problem with sticking like we did initially, which thankfully we were able to come back from. You see this side's got a nice crisp on it. I might do one more flip, but this is going to stay on for one more minute, and then I'm going to give my review of the burger. Alright, so we have my version of the Beyond Meat burger. I have had the Impossible Burger before. The Impossible Burger I had was a lot thinner. Was really impressed with the texture. The flavor is not so much like meat. It has that kind of funky, mushroomy kind of taste. The texture was very impressive. Everything I've read says this is a little bit closer to the real thing. So I'm going to give my take on it now. Yeah. So right away, I can tell what Pam means. Pam was saying that smell to the meat that I described when I was working with it, that kind of funky sort of aroma, it carries through into the taste, and it's not bad. I mean, I would say you have to be somebody who likes mushrooms, because that's really what it tastes kind of like, a mushroomy kind of, like a funky flavor. You can definitely tell not your average hamburger in the taste. But again, the flavor is spot on. I would say, I mean, the texture is spot on. It has a really nice crisp to it that I don't think you can get with any other veggie burgers. I mean, they knock the texture out of the park. Yeah, this is really good. I like how it falls apart. It's crummy, the way that a hamburger is crummy. I mean, this is really, really impressive.